Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy. Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show with Coach Jason Allen. We're here at Monty Alban 3 tonight here in Lafayette, and we certainly do appreciate Luis and Roxana hosting us as usual. I'm here with my broadcast partner, Chester Carter. Chester, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thanks, Sid. Great to be here. And, we also want to, again, thank Roxana and Luis here at Monty Alban. They do such a great job here on Thursday night, and heck, every night they do a great job of making everybody feel welcome.
Absolutely.
And just to remind everybody that, if you wear your Chambers gear, you're going to get 10% off your ticket here at Monty Alban. So come on up, hang out, get some tacos and some drinks, and have a good time with us. And we'll talk a little bit of football this afternoon.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. We got a good show planned tonight. We've got several segments like we did last week. Just briefly, we'll tell you again what we're going to do. We do appreciate the crowd. We have a great crowd here tonight for those of you who can't see that. And we really appreciate you guys coming over. We appreciate the players being here. As we did last week, we'll do 4 segments tonight. We'll do just a little bit of a review of the game between ourselves here. We'll pass along some information that we got from Coach Jake Copeland this week up at the Heritage School. We'll discuss that with Coach Allen when he comes up as well. We're going to talk very briefly here with Coach Neesmith as well and get his opinion on some of the game action. And then we're going to recognize and mention our players of the game from last week, the defensive player of the game and the offensive player of the game. We're going to do that just in a second when we come back. And our final segment is going to be something that we've created that is new this year, and it is our impact player of the game. And you never can tell, it might be impact player or players.
That's right. So, and this is something that we felt that last year we had a hard time picking some most valuable players of the game, and those players are the ones that stand out on the stat sheet out there. But there's an athlete out there that does something that, sportsmanship, could be leadership on the field, and they need to be recognized for that. So we tried to add this into this year, and it may not be flashy stats, but it's just something that helped out the team throughout the game.
And as people probably know already, we're not coaches, and we don't look at game film, and we don't go to the coaches for this information. It's really a Chester and I thing, and we consult with David about it. And we try to pick players based on the game and our mindset. The way I do it on my roster, I put an I by a name on the roster, and I count up the I's, and that's really where my player comes from. So then we get together and make the pick. Defensive player and offensive player, the same as last year. We try to pick that player who had a really great contribution and made a big difference. So we'll do that as well. One of the things I think we want to talk about really just briefly, Chester, is last week. Let's go on and get that out. It was not the game that we wanted to play. It wasn't the outcome we wanted, but our players played well. We stayed with it. We had a chance to win the game late, and we'll talk more with Coach Allen about that. Your impressions from last week?
Starting out of the gate, it was a tough way to start the game off with that kick return for a touchdown, but the kids fought back through that adversity there and held it tight through the first and second, and then that long drive at the end of the first put the Warriors up 14-0. But the kids never stopped fighting, and it was good to see that all the way through 4 quarters.
Well, I think the game, one of the things that I've talked to several people this week, it seemed to me that the game had a little bit of the Clark Prep vibe to it. We had some mistakes. We didn't really play our game early. We made some corrections, and we got ourselves really deeply in that game. I think the score just before halftime obviously was very big. We came back after the outstanding kicker they had, Rollader, looked like he could kick it from the parking lot that night. When he pulled that or pushed the kick, it really seemed to give us a new life. We took the ball down the field and scored and had a chance really to win that ball game again. We needed some big breaks. But, that's the thing that encourages me is after that break, after we got that big miss, we came back and really played CA football. And that was impressive to me.
Yeah. Kids did a good job to fight through that, and it was just something the coaches talked about before the game is just going to see what they, each squad had, like losing a lot of players from Lee Scott and seeing how the younger classmen for CA were going to step up. And the coaches learned a lot. We did too, and the score was a lot better than the year before. So a lot to work, a lot of positive things to work off of that game.
Well, it's a hostile environment. We're on the road. It's the opening game, and something that we did not expect, and we were not looking for is the kickoff run back. And if
Yeah.
you think about it, and we'll get into your stats later on, I'm not going to get to those. We had some incredibly good results from the play of the game plays in the game after we got over that initial shock of the kickoff being run back.
Yeah.
So a lot to talk about. I think a lot of positives from the game. So we'll get into that more together, and then we have the coaches over. We'll get into some of those details as well. We're going to take just a short first break here, come back with our initial segment, and we'll be back with you. Again, Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show, sponsored by Farmers and Merchants Bank. We thank you for watching.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
And welcome back here to the Farmers and Merchants Coaches Show here at Monte Alban in Lafayette, Alabama. We have our defensive coordinator, Coach Dillon, with us up here to talk about some of the action that happened on the defensive side of the ball in last week's game with Lee Scott. So, Coach, kind of give us a perspective from your seat of what you saw out there in the game in the first half.
Well, first and foremost, I thought guys did a really good job of, communicating, which is something that we've really been harping on. We changed up our fronts, we changed up coverages. They did a really good job in that aspect, and we harped on. You got to stop them from running the football. When you stop the other team from running the football, it gives you're going to be in every ball game you play in. So we did that. We stopped them from running the football. We had a lot of really great plays that kind of made up for some mistakes that we made earlier. But like I said, if you stop the other team from running the football, you're going to be in every game, and we were in that game up until the last minute.
Yeah, a quick stat check there after the game. It looks like the Rebel defense held the Warriors to just a little over 100 yards on the ground. Is that correct?
What was the number? 63 yards is on 30 attempts.
That's much better.
Was the number I
that's
saw.
a much better number.
So that's 2 yards a pop. The numbers don't add up. So we stopped them from running the football.
And those stats were from Lee Scott, so of course they're probably going to be a little bit biased, right?
Yeah, that's probably right.
Coach, one of the things that I was thinking about after coming back and watching the game film, you have some young players on the defense. You have several sophomores that are on the field. You have great senior leadership there as well. It looked like those guys really blended together very well to kind of set the nucleus of your new 2023 defense and play really well.
Yeah, it's a great mixture of old heads and new faces. Eli and Drew Shepard are new faces onto the defense this year at a full-time role. They're playing out of their minds. They're playing really good football right now. And then, mix that in with 2 returning seniors with Smith and Brooks. Those 2 guys are pretty tough inside. And so our defensive line sets the front for, how we're going to play in a ball game. If they dominate like they absolutely should, then we'll be in every opportunity to win a ball game.
And that's what me and Sid were talking about after the game is how do we pick a defensive player of the game? That's why we honored the entire defense.
Yeah.
Because from a collective perspective there, they did a great job fighting through everything down there. So they got the defensive player of the game, the entire defense, because we couldn't just pick one out.
Well, when we were looking at the plays of the game, we really saw a diverse contribution level from the secondary guys coming up and hitting, from the defensive line, from your linebackers. I mean, what I particularly liked about the defense, it seemed to me that every position, not just your starters, but your your follow-up players were really engaged and made really good decisions. It looked like there were an awful lot of tackles made at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we got a lot of good players who may not be with the, quote unquote starting group, but that we have no doubts when we put them in there that they can get the job done. We've got really good guys in the back, in the 2s and 3 spots. And so, we trust those younger guys, and maybe it's just the difference of being a younger guy and an older guy. That's the only reason why the older guy's playing over. And so, we have full trust in anybody that we put out there on the field for sure.
We noticed a couple things too. We noticed a mixture of different levels of communication with the younger guys and the older guys. We saw some events where the younger guys were making adjustment, doing that communication. Then we saw some of the older guys come up, suggest an adjustment or push people or move people to a different spot. And I think that's a great sign for your defense.
Yeah, I mean, everybody communicating is key. We had a great, Kyle kind of communicates the back end at safety. He kind of controls the coverages and makes sure everybody's lined up correctly from the back end. And then Luke and Ford, change jobs and, adjust coverage. adjust the front or, and adjust the outside linebacker play, overhang and stuff like that. So, they're doing a great job. The defense played well enough to win the ball game, in my opinion. We just didn't play as well as their defense, apparently.
Well, I think that's a really great point. Our defense really was on the field a lot, and our defense really kept us in the game as we worked through getting our offense really in gear and moving. I think they did a good job, and we'll talk more about this with Coach. They did, it seemed like to me, a good job of stopping our sweep, and that seemed to cut down some of our offensive flow and really, I think, eliminated our ball control there.
Yeah, give credit to them. They were doing things well defensively that was giving us fits, with our rules up front and stuff. So they did a good job. They had a good game plan and they executed. They made great open field tackles when they had to. And then, every now and then we were hindered with flags that just kept biting us in the butt. So.
One of the things that we talked about an awful lot, and we were just ready to get into that, the officials call the game, and you play the game with the officials you have. You don't have a choice there. Yeah. But one of the things that I think that we felt like during the game was it's almost like the flow of the game never really got going for either team. And I think the officials – we're making a lot of close calls, and that seemed to kind of back the offensive down a little bit.
Yeah, it did. When you get behind the sticks, it's tough to overcome. We're a run-heavy offense, and, it makes it a lot tougher, and it gets us out of our comfort zone, and it gets kids playing slower. When we're playing downhill is when we're at our best ball.
Well, we did struggle when we were making the choices for the players of the game, and it was really a consensus with us that the defense played well across the board, and that's why we made that call. Listen, it's not a participation trophy.
No.
We're really excited when we have a standout defensive player that we can call out, recognize, and, of course, do our interviews at home. But we felt like this was a great defensive effort. And we just thought the defense played awfully well and deserved that award.
Oh, good. I disagree. I'd rather it be the whole defense than one guy.
Right, so, absolutely.
Coaches never stop coaching, you know that.
That's right. That's right. So, hey, as we look forward a little bit tomorrow, actually, hope everybody gets down to Corbett Allen Field and packs the house out for our first home game. Right. Do you know anything about this Heritage Squash?
Man, I know just about as much as you guys.
Okay.
So not much at all. So we've kind of taken a step back and just try to work on ourselves this week from a defensive perspective. They could come out in something that we've never seen, but our kids are smart enough. They know how to align and adjust to make it. So we're not going to panic.
Yep.
Like I said, it comes down to blocking and tackling. It's a simple game.
Well, one thing I will say about the information I was able to gather, I did talk to the Heritage coach, Coach Copeland, and he was an absolute gentleman and very helpful and just, helped me with gathering some information about the school and the team. So we really appreciated him taking the time to spend with me and just go through some things. So
yes, sir.
We look forward to competing with those guys. I think we will definitely compete with them no matter who they bring and no matter what sets they come out in.
Absolutely.
So we look forward to being there. I know you're going to be ready. I know your players are going to be ready. We certainly thank you for being here. You add a lot to our
Thank you
show.
guys.
We
You
enjoy
guys
it very much.
do a great job.
Thank you. And we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
And welcome back here. We just want to take a few minutes to thank our host again, Monty Albin here in Lafayette. They do such a great job for us here, setting everything up, letting us come into their facility. Come on up here, wear your Chambers gear, get 10% off, try their Chambers special. They've got the firemen, you name it, they got the greatest servers. Make sure you take care of them and tip them up well. And just stop in and say hi to Luis and Roxana and help support this local business, and we would greatly appreciate it.
Respect. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Coach Jason Allen for our head coaches segment here. We appreciate Coach Dillon coming over and talking to us more specifically about the defense. Coach, I guess the best thing we can do is kind of turn this evaluation to a disappointing opening game, I would say, but not totally disappointing. Let you give your opinion of our opener at Lee Scott.
Yeah, we started the game off, we gave up a touchdown on the kickoff, and that's the last thing you want to happen in the world. And we talked about that all preseason about how important it was to be good on special teams, especially the special teams where you have to tackle people, and that's kickoff and punt team. And we didn't tackle their guy. We got down there, thought our guys played with effort. We just didn't take good angles of the ball. We didn't break down. We've changed some things on kickoff this week. We felt like we needed to, and so we've put some more experienced players on that team, and we've worked on some different strategies. I think Chester used to call it the sun kick. We may do a little sun kicking this week where we kick that thing high all the way across the field toward the sideline. Spencer's been doing a great job. He had a good kick on the kickoff. It had pretty good height. Spencer, when he gets a hold of it, he can kick it in the end zone, and that's what we were hoping for because when it crossed that goal line, it's dead. But didn't happen. But I was really pleased with how our kids settled in after that. That's very deflating. And we went 3 and out on offense. I called a couple bad plays, and then we had to punt, and they had the ball at the 50-yard line with a chance to go up 2 scores, and we came out smoking on defense. I thought we played great all night defensively. I thought Coach Nesmith did a great job getting our guys ready to play. We were fast to the ball. We were physical. We did a lot of things right. And gave up 1 touchdown the rest of the game and no points the second half. So defensively, we gave ourselves a chance to win. The problem is we shot ourselves in the foot. We never got our gun out of the holster.
Yeah. Well, when we opened, and that was obviously the opening play we both mentioned. You've told us it's a very disappointing play. It really hurts your team to give that up, and we were shocked by it as well. But you're exactly right. We came back from there and played lights out, in my opinion. We really did a great job. And I think the thing we were looking at is when we got those guys pinned back on their 10, in our mindset during the game, we thought they were trying to run out the clock before the half.
Yeah.
We thought we had stuffed them a couple times. I don't know if it was a big play or a penalty, but they did get a first down and they moved into gear. And it really looked like they got some sort of new energy on that drive. Our defense was on the field for a while. There were some penalties on that drive, and it gave them that second score to go up.
Yeah, we called a timeout there with about 4 minutes and some change, and when they had the ball deep and we had them backed up, and they said, guys, this is a crucial point in the game right here. We need to make sure that they don't score points here, and we need to make sure we can win field position. We can get the ball back and score before half. And they hit a pass on the left sideline to their number 8, Jake White, who's a really good player, and he ended up making the touchdown catch on a back shoulder throw there in the end zone. I thought he and their quarterback played well. I thought, like you guys talked about, I thought we dominated from a run defense standpoint.
Absolutely.
And the plays that they did make, they were really good throws and catches. We were there.
Well,
Yeah, the quarterback had some accuracy when he did find a wide receiver. He nailed it. There was some good athleticism out there on their side.
we brought up number 8 because he made a number of catches. He's a really good athlete. He made tough catches, and he had good speed. And the other thing, I mean, they had some really well-coached and disciplined players. They had a kid in the secondary, number 25, and I forget his name, who made a lot of tackles, broke up some passes. And the other thing was, I really want to ask your opinion. We had not seen them in the pregame do kicking, but then when their kid came out and started kicking, it was like he could kick it from the parking lot.
Yeah, Buster said earlier in the summer he thought he had the best kicker in the state. And, from a kickoff standpoint, he may be right. I know he missed a field goal. Right. But when you can kick the ball in the other guy's end zone, they have to go 80 yards to score. That's really a huge advantage for you.
Well, when we watched him on his first kick, what I was amazed at, his kicks were very powerful. He really got into the ball. He drove the ball, and as it turns out, big leg, great kickoffs, but he pulled that field goal, and it really was something that gave us incredible energy, and we really got after him and drove the ball the length of the field and scored. Yep.
If I remember, we ran several quarterback runs. Jacob Norgard was able to kind of get the field position flipped, and we had some good plays by all our guys. I thought our offensive line blocked well at times. I didn't do a very good job offensively calling plays, probably. I've got to do a better job. First of the week, we ran a lot of banks for penalty yards this week, about 70 of them, and I told the kids I was going to run half of them for the play calling that I did. So I made 35 Monday. I didn't get to get any on Tuesday though.
Speaking from an offensive point, we saw some difference from last year. You had 3 guys out there under center. You had your Cole Baker, Norgard, and Hand came in towards, I think, the third or fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Is that something that we're going to see a lot of this year? Did you like the feel of the different rotating in to keep the defense on their heels?
Yeah, well, it depends. We just were struggling. We weren't getting anything going, so we were kind of searching for some answers, and so I think all 3 guys did some good things, and that could be something we do the next couple games, and maybe something we do the rest of the year, or we may not do it anymore at all. We may settle on one guy, but we're going to do whatever it takes for us to score points offensively. And it doesn't matter to me who's playing that position. Just doesn't like it matter who's playing running back or right tackle or split end or whatever. We're going to figure out what we got to do collectively to score points.
Well, if we think back to that game, and one of the things that I remember, some specific plays, I thought you had set the play with Landon up very well. Landon came in and ran the ball outside, picked up several yards, maybe 5 or 6 yards. You waited a series or 2, and then you ran that play with him. He pulls up and throws the ball for a first down. So it was a really, I think, efficient play, and it really caught them, I thought, off guard. I thought that play was going to go for more.
Yeah, that's a play we worked all summer. It's basically a reverse RPO. So he has the opportunity to run the reverse, or if the outside linebacker comes up to make a play, then we're actually running routes over there. So he had the option to run the ball or throw it right there, and he probably threw it to the route that's probably not his primary route. He did a great job of reading both receivers that were in the routes, and hit Aiden Anglin on a post for about 33-yard gain. Yeah,
well, so I would agree with you. I think we saw really good things from all 3 of your quarterbacks, and I understand. It's really good to see those guys get in and make plays. That's what you want, all 3 of them, and I think all 3 played well. From an offensive standpoint, we named Kareem our player of the game on offense. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we particularly liked about his game was he was fully engaged, he was in the game, and he showed a great burst of speed, and I just wanted your opinion on that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, and I think he's going to get more and more comfortable with our guys. But we're going to try to get the ball to him to 8 or 10 times a game, whether it's throwing the ball or running reverse or handing the ball to him, because he has really good speed. So that's another weapon for us. I thought maybe he was really close to breaking one or two there, but really just makes it tougher for us to defend. We've got 5 or 6 guys that we feel like are playmakers that can get the ball and do something with it. But I think Kareem's going to continue to get better and better as the year goes on, and he gets more comfortable with what we're doing offensively.
There's one thing I was going to ask you I was quite impressed with was you guys worked so hard in the summer for getting strength and conditioning. I saw very few. I mean, maybe I was missing it, but the kids looked like they took the heat and everything well down there. I didn't see anything. Was there something we were missing? It looked like they were very well conditioned for the environment.
Yeah, we had a couple little cramps, but the kids were able to go back in, and it was really hot. I didn't think fatigue was a factor in the game at all. And our guys did a great job. Our guys are used to being in the heat. I think that's important, that you're used to being out in this heat, and you're a whole lot more resistant to what heat does to a person. So,
Well, just piggybacking on that a little bit, I go back to that missed kick, and I look at the energy that came from the offense after that missed kick. And look, we're in the fourth quarter. We're playing a 3A team that ran the table last year.
Yeah.
Now, they graduated a lot of guys. I understand that. Every season's different. But they had played well. They were well disciplined. They had taken away some things from us. I think they took away our, I think you call it the buck sweep, it looked like to me. But when we got the ball after that kick, our young guys played as well as I can remember them playing. They just got after it and drove the ball the length of the field and scored. They were not going to be denied, is the way I looked at it.
No, the thing about our kids too, my late father-in-law, he coached for a long time and helped me a lot with basketball, and he said the one thing that always impressed him about Chambers kids that they never quit. I mean, our guys battle all the time. He said he'd been watching them play for 10 years. He'd never seen our kids lay down and quit. And, that's something I'm really proud of as a head coach. That's a culture that we tried to establish. And, our kids felt like we had a chance all the way to the end, and we drove down, scored, and gave ourselves a chance to kick an onside kick. We just didn't execute it. But that's something I never worry about as a head coach, or whether or not our kids are going to keep competing no matter what the score
Absolutely.
is.
Well, I think we came out of the game. We did not want to lose the game. Nobody wanted to see that happen, but we played well. We did not quit, and we stayed in the game and had a chance to win the game late. I think that's a very important takeaway. Now, as we transition this week to the Heritage School from Noonan, I mentioned I had talked to their AD and Coach Copeland, and super nice guy and was very helpful to me. He mentioned that they finished 8-4 last year, and they lost in the quarters. And I think his team may be in numbers a little bit down this year.
Yeah, from looking at their rosters, we don't know a whole lot, like Coach Dillon said, other than they're going to be a spread team, and I think they're going to try to throw it around and run some zone reads. So a lot of stuff you see on college football on Saturdays is going to look like them. And, but they don't have a lot of the same kids. They may have brought in better kids. I don't know. So, that's kind of that's the way it is early in the year sometimes, and they have an advantage. I guarantee you they got on YouTube and watched us play last week, unless they're living under a rock.
Right.
And so all we got to go by is they got a new coordinator on offense and defense, so we're kind of flying blind here. But our kids, have seen pretty much everything that you can run offensively. I know we'll adjust. There'll be some things that if it gives us a problem, we'll be able to get on the sideline and adjust, hopefully, to what they're doing. And our kids are very eager to get back out on the field and make up for what we felt like was a very disappointing loss last week. Right. And our kids are, even though Lee Scott's a 3A team, we're not into moral victories, and we're disappointed we lost the game. We felt like it was a game that we could have and maybe should have won. I know Lee Scott probably feels the same way. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in our ability not to do things that cost us the game.
Well, I would understand. I wouldn't expect it to be any different. And I know some of the mistakes that we made. We had penalties. We had some major penalties, and a lot of the penalties came in really, in my mind, kind of crushing times as we were starting to get things
we were
established.
inside the 25, 20-yard line.
Right, and that happened several times. And again, as I said with Coach Dillon, there seem to be just momentum-killing penalties, and we will clean that up. I know this staff will clean those things up. I know our kids will get better with that. But, I think we maintained our discipline fairly well. I think we will get back to our standard, and we'll be ready to play Heritage tomorrow night.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to it.
It should be a great time tomorrow. Nothing's better than a Friday night in Chambers County, watching a little football, hanging out down there at Tolbert Allen Field. So everybody get down to the stadium, hang out, pack it out, and let's have a good time and cheer on the Rebels.
There's only one thing that competes with that, and that's the Thursday night coaches show at Monte Alban, because they are great hosts and they are great people, big supporters of Chambers Academy. Come up here, enjoy the great specials they have, the Chambers special, the Main Street special, and there's 10% discount if you wear Chambers Academy paraphernalia.
That's right. So come out.
So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, support your local businesses.
And just before we go, let's thank Farmers and Merchants Bank again. We really do appreciate them sponsoring the show as well.
Yep. I hope everybody will come out tomorrow night, and I'm excited about our first home game. I think we have a great home environment, and just everybody remember, it's great to play with a C in the A.
Coach, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Coach, we
Thank you. We'll be back after a quick break. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
Hey, support your local businesses. Stop in and see Roxanne and Luis up here at Monte Alban on Highway 77 North in Lafayette. Come in and get your lunches and dinners, chamber special, margaritas. Hang out for football. They have everything running. And, of course, stop in on Thursday evenings and see the Farmers and Merchants Coaches Show with Coach Jason Allen on Chambers Academy Sports Live. And welcome back here to the Farmers and Merchants Coaches Show here at Monte Alban in Lafayette, Alabama. We're about ready to have our last segment here of the evening. And I just wanted to remember to thank Taffney Nelson Photos, for setting up these incredible emblems here that she made for us this summer, and Chris Strength over at 2-3 Collective for getting this stuff wrapped up on a short basis. I think he turned it around in about 2 weeks, so we greatly appreciate it. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and talk a few minutes about some of our impact players of the game.
I will very soon. Oh, there we
go.
I'm back. Yes, we are going to. And let us just do a really quick recap. We appreciate our coaches coming up and giving us their insight into the game and helping us learn more about what we watched and what we thought we saw. It's always confirming when you see things right, and it's always educational when you get some new information about how the game flowed. We want to just say that we had 2 players of the game. Our offensive player of the game was Corrine. He did a great job. And we really want to thank him for his efforts, just like we want to thank everybody on the team that played awfully well into that tough, hostile situation. We look forward to naming these guys, as we always do. We'll interview these kids after the game at home. We don't do that on the road. Also, as to recap, our defensive team was the defensive players of the game. We selected the entire defense because we thought the defense did an outstanding job. And for the first time we're going to announce a totally new award, a player award, and you want to kick us off on that Impact Player of the Week?
Yeah, just a reminder, like I said earlier, this is not a stat-driven thing that we recognize. This is something that we see out on the field. It could be leadership, sportsmanship, something where, one of the athletes, has an impact on the game that we just can't see on paper. So on the defensive side of the ball, we picked Kyle Hand as our impact player. He, I think, was talked to with the coaches about how he was out there kind of being the general in the secondary, getting folks where they needed to go, and stepping up there on offense in the second half and making some key catches going down toward try to score there in the second half.
And just this week, as we had mentioned, we were kind of teasing this because being the opening game and us working on this award, we had 2 impact players of the game. And our second impact player of the game is Spencer Newman. We know Spencer was in a tough situation, being a young guy coming out and kicking. We thought he executed incredibly well, and we really want to congratulate both these young guys. We look forward to great things from both of them. They're outstanding young men. They're outstanding athletes, and we're proud that they're with us, and we look forward to great performances from both of them and our entire team.
Yep, so again, to wrap everything up there and to put things in perspective here, after the game, we're at home. We're going to pick the most valuable defensive and offensive players of the game, interview them in the field house with Coach Allen. And then the following week on Thursday, when we have our coaches show here, we're going to announce the impact player of the game. So we hope everybody comes out Thursday afternoons here to Monte Alban. Come have some dinner and talk some football with us here every Thursday at Monte Alban, 7 o'clock, the Farmers and Merchants Coaches Show.
We appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. It's a great crowd. We appreciate all the input. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow night at Torbert Allen Field, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah, make sure you pack out the field tomorrow and bring a friend with you, and let's have a good time tomorrow.
Thanks, Chester. Have a good night, everybody.
See you.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank with 3 Hughley and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.